This might just be the best value SUV of the year. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 is here, and it's coming straight for the Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V. In a segment full of safe, predictable options, Mazda decided to throw a real curveball, a compact SUV that feels more like a luxury crossover than a daily family hauler. It's got that signature Mazda sharpness, a redesigned cabin that looks way more expensive than its price tag, and driving manners that remind you why this brand still cares about the feeling behind the wheel. Now, let's be honest, this isn't a car you're taking to the track. You're not winning drag races in a CX-5, and that's perfectly fine. Because for everything that actually matters, comfort, style, safety, and a kind of driving experience that keeps your family smiling on every trip, this SUV nails it. The 2.5-liter SkyActiv G engine still delivers a smooth 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque through a tried-and-true 6-speed automatic with standard all-wheel drive. But beyond the numbers, it's the way it drives. Tight steering, refined suspension, and a cabin that feels calm and upscale. So yeah, the RAV4 and CR-V should probably start sweating, because the 2026 CX-5 might just be the smartest, most satisfying SUV buy of the year. Mazda didn't bother trying to shout louder than everyone else. It sharpened the CX-5 until it actually mattered. From the moment you walk up, the 2026 model reads like someone who upgraded their suit instead of buying lighter accessories. Tighter LED headlights, a grille that feels planted rather than plastered on, and wheel designs that finally fill the arches the way they should. Side by side with a RAV4 or a CR-V, the CX-5 doesn't compete on gimmicks, it wins on posture. Where those rivals look busy or overly contrived, the CX-5 looks considered. Sculpted lines that age well, not just a midlife crisis for an SUV. Flip around to the rear and the story continues. Slimmer taillights and cleaner surfacing that suggests refinement rather than a desperation for attention. The stance is lower, the hips are firmer, and those 19-inch alloys on higher trims give it a planted, purposeful look that says this car was tuned by people who care about proportion. In short, Mazda gave the CX-5 a premium attitude without the price tag that usually comes with that vibe. Now, let's be blunt. This isn't a styling revolution, and it's not trying to be. It doesn't blow the doors off more radical designs, and it isn't the flashiest thing in a parking lot. What it does do, and does very effectively, is deliver exactly what matters for a Finkley SUV. A design that reads upscale, a presence that doesn't embarrass you in front of your friends, and a pared-back elegance that won't date after 2 years. It's not perfect, but it's perfectly calibrated for the market it's trying to own. Put another way, if you want a compact SUV that makes the usual suspects feel ordinary, the 2026 CX-5 hits that mark. It doesn't need to be the loudest, it just needs to be the one people notice for the right reasons. Step inside the 2026 Mazda CX-5 and you'll instantly get why this SUV punches above its weight. Mazda didn't just update the interior, it refined it with the precision of a brand that understands how to make you feel like you're driving something far more expensive. The layout is minimalist, but not empty. Every button, every stitch, every material feels deliberate. The dash flows cleanly, wrapped in soft-touch materials and accented with brushed aluminum or genuine wood trim, depending on the trim level. It's a cabin that feels like it belongs in the entry luxury segment, not in the same lineup as the RAV4 or CR-V. The centerpiece is Mazda's latest 10.25-inch infotainment display, now running the brand's updated Connect interface. It supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and while Mazda still uses its rotary controller instead of a full touchscreen setup, the logic is clear. It keeps your hands off the glass and your eyes on the road. The system feels faster, more responsive, and finally competitive with Toyota's new infotainment and Honda's crisp interface. The Bose 10-speaker premium sound system, available on higher trims, easily fills the cabin with deep, clear sound, another small detail that elevates the experience beyond its price. Mazda's done an especially good job with the seating and ergonomics this year. The front seats are supportive and firm in a way that encourages long drives, not just short errands. In the back, passengers get generous legroom, and while it's not class-leading, the materials and comfort level make up for it. There's a sense of calm inside this cabin. The insulation is better, the road noise is lower, and it all feels more solidly built than most competitors in this class. Tech-wise, the CX-5 doesn't try to overcomplicate things with unnecessary flash. You get a clean digital gauge cluster, an available head-up display, and a full suite of driver assist tech: adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert. Everything works seamlessly, without the false alarms or intrusive corrections you get in some rivals. It's funny. Step into a RAV4 or a CR-V and you'll find more screens, more menus, and maybe more gadgets. But sit in the CX-5, close the door, and you realize Mazda took a different route: quality over clutter. It's not trying to overwhelm you with tech, it's trying to make every interaction smoother, more intuitive, and genuinely satisfying. And that's exactly why this interior feels a step above its price class. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 may not boast the flashiest technology in the market, but it nails the fundamentals: great materials, thoughtful design, and an atmosphere that makes every drive feel like time well spent. Pop the hood of the 2026 Mazda CX-5 and you won't find any wild surprises. And that's a good thing. Mazda stuck with what works: the proven 2.5-liter SkyActiv G4 cylinder, delivering 185 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque through a smooth 6-speed automatic. On paper, it doesn't sound groundbreaking, but here's where Mazda's philosophy shines. It's not about chasing numbers, it's about how those numbers feel when you're behind the wheel. The first thing you notice is how natural it all feels. Throttle response is sharp but never jerky. The 6-speed automatic, while old school compared to the 8 and 9-speed boxes and rivals, shifts with confidence and precision. There's no hunting for gears, no lag, no overthinking. Just the calm, predictable flow of power. It's the kind of transmission that reminds you why sometimes less engineering complexity means more real-world smoothness. And this is where the Japanese craftsmanship really earns respect. Mazda's engineers understand mechanical harmony. Everything from the pedal weight to the steering feedback feels like it's tuned by people who actually enjoy driving. There's a quiet obsession with balance here. The way the chassis talks to you through the corners, the way body roll stays controlled without making the right harsh, the way the car feels stable at highway speed, yet light in city traffic. Mazda's G-Vectoring Control Plus continues to do its subtle magic, adjusting torque delivery as you turn, keeping the SUV composed and fluid through corners. Most drivers will never notice it working. They'll just feel like they're driving better, and that's the whole point. Sure, the CX-5 isn't a powerhouse. You're not pinning yourself to the seat or chasing 0 to 60 bragging rights. But what you do get is a powertrain that feels honest, durable, and incredibly refined for its class. The engine is smooth, the response is consistent, and most importantly, this setup has a track record for reliability. Japanese engineering at its finest: simple, robust, and designed to last. Ask any long-term Mazda owner and they'll tell you the same thing. These engines don't quit. They don't whine, they don't overheat, and they don't nickel and dime you with weird failures 3 years down the road. In a world full of over-engineered turbo motors and complicated hybrid systems, the CX-5's naturally aspirated heart is refreshingly trustworthy. On the road, that translates to confidence. The steering is taut and communicative, easily one of the best in its class, and the all-wheel drive system grips with assurance in rain and light snow. It's not trying to be a sport SUV, but it's one of the few that still feels like it was built by people who love driving. And when you combine that with the bulletproof reliability of Mazda's engines, you get something rare in today's market: a car that's genuinely enjoyable and worry-free. Mazda has never treated safety as a checklist item, and the 2026 CX-5 proves it once again. Rather than stuffing the cabin with half-baked tech features, Mazda focused on making every system actually work with the driver, not against them. The result? A compact SUV that feels not only secure, but genuinely confident, like it's looking out for you, not trying to take control. Every 2026 CX-5 comes standard with Mazda's full iActiv Sense safety suite, which includes adaptive cruise control with stop and go, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, driver attention alert, and automatic emergency braking. What makes Mazda's setup stand out is how subtle it all feels. The lane keep assist doesn't jerk the wheel or overreact. The adaptive cruise control eases in and out of traffic smoothly, and the braking assist engages naturally. It's safety tech that feels invisible, doing its job in the background, never shouting at you for every small move. This year, Mazda has also refined its forward collision warning and pedestrian detection systems, expanding their effectiveness in low-light conditions, something many rivals still struggle with. The updated radar and camera sensors feed smarter algorithms that can better anticipate obstacles, rather than reacting too late or triggering false alarms. In crash tests, the CX-5 continues to be a standout. The previous model already earned IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus ratings, and given the structural similarities and minor reinforcements in this 2026 version, it's fair to expect the same high marks again. The body structure uses Mazda's high-strength steel frame with carefully engineered crumple zones, and that contributes not only to safety, but also to how composed the SUV feels on the road: solid, planted, and quiet. Mazda's philosophy is simple but effective. Technology should enhance awareness, not replace it. And that's exactly what the CX-5 delivers. It doesn't overwhelm you with screens or alerts. It supports you quietly, letting you focus on what you're supposed to be doing, driving. At the end of the day, while the RAV4 and CR-V may brag about slightly newer tech stacks or more digital displays, the CX-5 system feels more mature. It's safety tech that you can actually trust, backed by engineering discipline and an emphasis on real-world reliability over flashy gimmicks. In other words, it keeps your family protected and does it without making every drive feel like a video game. Pricing for the 2026 Mazda CX-5 is expected to start around $31,000, putting it right in line with its two biggest rivals, the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V. But the real story isn't just about price tags, it's about how much you actually get for what you pay. And that's where Mazda's strategy makes a lot of sense. Even the base model feels well-equipped, with standard all-wheel drive, a refined interior, and the same attention to detail that Mazda typically reserves for higher trims. Move up the lineup, and the upgrades feel meaningful. Better materials, larger screens, premium audio, and subtle design touches that make the CX-5 feel far more expensive than it is. Unlike some competitors that make you climb several trims just to get the good stuff, Mazda gives you real value from the start. When you stack it against the RAV4 and CR-V, the difference in personality becomes clear. The RAV4 is all about practicality and resale value. The CR-V leans on space and efficiency. The CX-5? It's the emotional choice, the SUV that makes you actually enjoy driving again. It might not top the charts in fuel economy or hybrid range, but it easily beats both in refinement, steering feel, and overall experience behind the wheel. Mazda understands its buyer. You're not chasing the latest gadget or biggest badge. You're after something that feels worth every dollar, something that makes daily driving feel a bit special. And that's exactly what the CX-5 delivers. The materials feel premium, the fit and finish are exceptional, and the dynamics remind you why simplicity and craftsmanship still matter. Sure, the RAV4 might hold its resale value a touch better, and the CR-V might sip fuel more gently, but the CX-5 gives you something harder to measure: satisfaction. It's the kind of SUV that feels right every time you start it, the one you look back at when you park it, and the one that still feels solid 5 years down the road. At the end of the day, this might just be the SUV that very few owners ever regret buying, because for what you pay, the 2026 Mazda CX-5 gives you something rare in this segment: the sense that your money was genuinely well spent.
Performance-wise, Toyota wins the numbers game. The RAV4's hybrid and plug-in options deliver stronger acceleration and far better fuel economy than Mazda's naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder. But the CX-5 pushes back with its signature Mazda handling, the kind of balanced steering feel and road connection you simply don't find in its rivals. It's not the fastest, but it's the most engaging to drive. Then there's the Honda CR-V, the rational choice. Spacious, efficient, and exceptionally well built. It's the one that makes sense on paper. It's the SUV you buy with your head, while the CX-5 is the one you buy with your heart. The CR-V's hybrid powertrain gives it the edge in daily efficiency, but its interior, while solid, lacks the visual charm and tactile quality of Mazda's cabin. In terms of pricing, all three are competitive, hovering around the mid-$30,000 range for well-equipped trims. But Mazda gives you something unique for your money, a sense of craftsmanship and driver satisfaction that makes you feel like you've spent more than you actually did. The RAV4 offers more versatility, the CR-V offers more practicality, but the CX-5 offers more emotion. So while it may not top every category, the 2026 Mazda CX-5 strikes a rare balance. It's stylish without being flashy, comfortable without being soft, and engaging without being tiring. It might not win every spreadsheet comparison, but it's probably the one you'll regret the least after you've lived with it, because every drive reminds you why you chose it. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 is built for drivers who crave more than just an A to B machine. It's for people who want their daily drive to feel like something special, not a chore. If you're the kind of person who still enjoys the act of driving, who notices the feel of the steering, the way the car corners, or the quiet refinement of a well-built cabin, this SUV speaks directly to you. It's also for the practical dreamers, those who need a reliable family vehicle but refuse to settle for something bland. Maybe you've looked at the RAV4 or CR-V and thought, they're fine, but they don't make me feel anything. That's exactly where the CX-5 wins hearts. It gives you the space, safety, and comfort your family needs while wrapping it all in a design and driving experience that feels a step above. For younger professionals or small families, it's the perfect balance. Upscale design, premium interior feel, and just the right amount of tech without feeling overcomplicated. And for longtime drivers who have owned multiple cars and now want something that feels refined yet approachable, the CX-5 offers that mature, confident character without the luxury price tag. Simply put, the 2026 Mazda CX-5 is for those who value substance and soul in their car. People who want quality, craftsmanship, and driving pleasure in equal measure. It's not for the spec chasers or the off-road warriors. It's for the everyday driver who still believes a family SUV can have personality and who wants every drive, no matter how ordinary, to feel just a little extraordinary. So here's the bottom line. Should you buy the 2026 Mazda CX-5 over the RAV4 or CR-V? If what you care about most are fuel savings, hybrid options, or pure practicality, then Toyota and Honda still hold the upper hand. The RAV4's hybrid system is bulletproof and efficient, and the CR-V's space and versatility make it a no-brainer for families who just want everything to work. But if you want more than just good enough, if you want a car that makes you feel something every time you get behind the wheel, the CX-5 is your answer. It's the SUV that doesn't need to shout to be impressive. It wins you over quietly through its craftsmanship, the precision of its steering, the calm refinement of its cabin, and the way it carries itself like something far more expensive. Sure, it's not the fastest, it's not the flashiest, and it's not packed with every high-tech gimmick out there, but what it gives you instead is satisfaction, the kind that lasts long after the new car smell fades. The 2026 Mazda CX-5 is one of those cars you buy once and rarely second guess because it simply feels right every time you drive it. So if you're cross-shopping the usual suspects, RAV4, CR-V, maybe even a Rogue or Tucson, do yourself a favor, drive the CX-5 before you decide. You might find that this isn't just another compact SUV, it's the one that reminds you why you fell in love with driving in the first place. And if you want to see how it stacks up in real-world tests and owner experiences, stay tuned, because here on Car Today Reviews, we'll be putting the 2026 CX-5 through its paces very soon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about whether the Mazda is the best value SUV of the year. Thanks for watching this video. What do you think of this car? Be sure to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss whether the Mazda is the best value SUV of the year. See you in the next video. Bye!